Hello and welcome to CRU News. I am Khushbu Soni, your host for the broadcast and the chief editor at CRU News. This is our exclusive interview series with our Wonder Woman in Tech. It is a recorded session and will be available on our website, that is crunews.co.in, and our CRU News LinkedIn handle. It is my pleasure to invite our Wonder Woman in Tech. She is Anushree Srivastava. Anushree is an innovator in technology, branding, and a specialist in monetization of technology and services. She's keen on working with startups, investments, and market entry for both domestic and global organizations to help them deliver successful growth outcomes through identifying and developing branding, growth strategy, and projects arising from new technologies and business models. Often within the complex policy and regulatory environment, she focuses on real challenges and creates incredible things. Anushree, it is a pleasure to have you today on this topic of Wonder Woman in Tech, and I'm really looking forward to learn from your journey.
Surely, same here. Thanks, Khushbu, and really acknowledging you and your fraternity for pulling me in this conversation. I hope it is going to be great learning for both of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great. So, Anushree, I wanted to begin with putting across my first question. Can you share a little bit about what it is that you do and what does a typical day look like?
Okay, so apart from being a woman, I am married, have two kids. I'm in my professional space. I'm a strategy global consultant. I love adding creativity and innovation in my life, apart from my professional space. My ability to take the right decisions help me reach out to my goals faster. I have a sense of love towards always learning new things and keep me ahead in ways of life. I'm generally in a situation and perspective. I really humbly accept the people around me in terms of their intellect, in terms of their human nature as well, which always gets me kicking and going ahead in life. My ability to identify and appreciate the problems which occur in businesses or day-to-day lives, which can actually be looked after by technology, is what I really look into. And that's what keeps me going in my space of consulting. When I start up my day with, I usually start my day with self-affirmations, positivity. I also have a health goal and vision, which I really am pursuing for the past 20 years, be it Zumba, gym, yoga. So that's what it is for me in a day-to-day life.
Wow, wonderful. Awesome. My next question is, did you always know that you wanted to work in the technology space? If it was not technology, what else it would have been?
So frankly speaking, I feel technology has been a part of me. I've served various organizations, railways, startups, done a couple of them, have been consulting big firms as well. And I'm associated with a lot of global firms, which have a DNA as technology. So I feel if it is tech, it is a part of me, right? And I of course have had chance to work with industries like Bollywood, like real estate, like small startups, even robotics is what I'm consulting currently. But I see technology is a great leveler in our lives today, right? And thanks to COVID, everybody's realized, be it the government or be it any other organization, they cannot do without technology, right? So I feel this is going to be a misnomer that I don't need a technology anymore, right? It's become a part and parcel of lives of kids, of course. If you see our kids, they're always being educated now, and they were the ones who did not have a phone, who did not have a laptop to themselves, but gone are the days because which has become a mundane part of our lives now.
Right, absolutely. Great. My further question is, we don't see many women in the tech industry at the level of, at the C level or at the leadership level. And, we believe that gender has affected the way it's perceived, treated. Have you ever been in a situation like that? If yes, how did you kind of handle it?
So I think it's very, person specific when you said a bias for women as well, right? And when you say women in tech, I think there are only 24% women across the globe which are leading in technology spaces. And the technology inception is such that it has become very prevalent today in the globe. We should be motivating each other as women. I've seen in my past organization and wherever I'm consulting, the gender bias does exist. So for women to break those barriers is for them to overcome. And technology is one such mode where people can actually start communicating in the same language, irrespective of wherever you are, whichever gender you are in, whichever positions you are in. We're talking of Google Meets and Zooms, right? It's again a platform where every hierarchy of the organization are communicating and transparently communicating with each other, which never used to happen ever. I remember my days at Railways when the MD of the organization used to call upon only the senior officials for meetings. And the communication was not there transparently between every hierarchies. But assuming now that everybody is on the same Google Meet, the MD and the GMs and the GGMs, they're all communicating on the same platform. So I somehow feel that technology has to be in and part and parcel of every organization. And women to surface up, of course, personally, if you ask me, I have been blessed to be working with organization where I could make a mark, where I was supported by every individual, both in the personal and the professional space. And I dream for the same for every woman in this organization.
Right. Awesome. Great. My next question is, what do you think is the best part of being a woman in the tech industry?
Okay, so I'm a consultant. I'm very tactful, and I handle my day very in a tactful manner on a day-to-day basis with my clients, with my interior superiors. And I feel women have this intelligence in them to inculcate this as a daily way of being in their lives, right? And when you say how do they really achieve this, I think when I said I did my self-affirmation on a day-to-day basis, I kind of retrain myself every day. Whatever failures I've had in my past, I try to overcome on a day-to-day basis. How do I indulge with my clients? What is the commercial negotiation which I do with my clients? If my past is good, has some failures, I try to learn from them and then inculcate them on a day-to-day routine basis. So I have a regime for myself, and I would recommend every such individual, be it a woman or a man, that he or she should understand that what has been going wrong in the past of his own professional space and what he needs to overcome, right? And I think if you build in it as a process, as a human being, irrespective of whichever gender you are, you will be able to overcome that.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Great. My next question is, do you notice a lack of women in the tech space? If so, why do you think that could be the case?
So I have personally felt that the bias still exists. And when you say there is a lack, this thought itself, the perception is that, yes, women are not being surfaced up in whichever arenas of industries they're working in. So if I feel if something is unfair, you need to speak about it. And you should need to be self-expressed to go to a levels of the organization that, yes, you are there, you have made a mark, and you need to be recognized for it. I will just recall you a small incident. I think it was in the year 2009-10. I was in my maternity and I was serving the government, and there was no such policy of maternity leave. And I was ready to serve for the 9 months during my maternity as well. But I stood up for not only for myself, but for all the women employees in the organization. And in the government, there's a process of approval through file going up to the higher ups in the organization. I did that not only for myself, but all for the women employees, which they are still thankful to me. I'm not saying that government should give something out of the way, or any organization should get out of the way for a woman because she's a woman, but her rights should be recognized as is, and that too with parity.
Correct. Correct.
So I feel and I live that totally. If it's unfair, it's probably unfair. So you need to take a stand, be it a man or a woman. And if you're a woman, you should all the more take a stand and create a space for the women who will follow you in that space. So I'm still looked at as a leader in railways whenever I venture into that space, because I've had 18 accolades to myself, because I've delivered beyond what was expected at the government. But that apart, I also cared for the people around me, be it men and women.
Wow. Wow.
And I think that's how every woman, irrespective of whichever position you are in your organization, you should be humble enough to take care of every people around you. You should take decisions not in a biased manner, into the account what the situation is and what is best for the organization. Yeah, so
Right.
that is how I somehow feel this.
Wonderful. And I think thank you for taking that stand when it needed for all the other women, for yourself and for the other women. So I think you've really, you know, done a big work for the women in the organization and otherwise as well. Awesome. My one last question before we end. Any advices that you would like to give to women considering a career in the tech industry, and what do you wish you had known?
So look, I really can't generalize for all women, but I can certainly speak for myself, and I would love women to follow me as well if they find me impactful and resourceful and doing great works in the arenas whichever I've done in my past. My hope is that you should keep innovating in your life. You should not be working in your comfort zone. I remember the days in my government when I had a good salary, good job, and uh, and a good strength of course, impacting the country also through technology. But I wanted to innovate. I wanted to move on. Serving 11 years in government, I took a conscious call of giving up my government job, doing my own startup. I stood up for my startup. I did government intervention for that startup. I created an impact in the real estate, created a prop tech product. Similarly, when I'm doing another startup today with robotics, I have 4 bunch of robotic engineers following me and they want me to lead their product. So we
Right.
built some robotic kits which young minds can indulge into and understand what robotics is all about. If I'm
Right.
today consulting a fintech company or I'm consulting a CRM company, how at all the processes within the organization can be benefited within and the outside of the organization for their clients, right?
Correct.
So I think we should all set our goals, irrespective of whichever field we are in. Of course, technology is an enabler in our lives, the way we see it today, be it a Zomato, be it an Amazon, be it any other banking industries. They are actually augmenting our lives, benefiting us. But for women to understand this, that they need to step out of their comfort zone, taking care of the family, of course, it has to be there as the primary motive, but they have to solve their purpose in life. And if they, the day they, like I found my purpose in life, Khushbu, what I really need to do.
Right.
If I have to be a global consultant, I need to be at pace with the latest technologies which are available, what are the clients' requirements, and how I can deliver them. Motivating the existing employees of the clients themselves. I may indulge into having my own team strength as well, but getting a new life and new solutions within the organization, which is what I really love to do. And getting back to your question, which you said, as I said, women need to really step out and understand that there's more to do for them and for the organization they are serving, right? And
Right.
we, as women community, need to help each other out.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. Wonderful insights, Anushree, and good to hear some of the key
And
points that you
I'm
mentioned.
sorry, I missed your last conversation line of thought that you said, Arushi. What if you've known something? So
Yes,
I, as a
yes.
leader, I I have this thumb rule in my life. So I'll give an example, Khushbu. Do you know how to fly a plane? It's a question for you. What's the answer?
No.
No. So that means your mind would say, I can't ever fly a plane, or I can't be a pilot, right? So
Right.
there is a space in your mind which says, I don't know, right?
Right.
So you don't know how to fly a plane and you really don't know whether you can do it, right? But what if you indulge into that space and try it out?
Right.
And you may be a very good pilot, right? So I usually in my projects indulge into spaces which I don't know. And I try and succeed in those spaces. And I've been doing that in the
Wow.
past 22 years. Yeah.
Right. And that's, I think, keeps us
So
going. If there is something that we don't know, we get into it, we learn. And as we learn,
yeah,
it becomes
because
exciting.
as I said, we love learning. So we have to unlearn
Yes.
our past, unlearn a
Correct.
lot of things we've done, maybe in the government, maybe in the startup, maybe in a
Correct.
bank, and then learn new things. And that's why we
Right.
tend to go more and more in our professional space, personal
Right.
space as well. So I've
Absolutely.
given back my fears and I'd love to indulge into spaces. Currently, I'm with a fintech company. I consult them. They run 50 banks. They run
Wow.
softwares for ATM. They run software for POS machines. They produce credit card, debit cards. So it's an exciting journey. There's so much of learning here. I'm really loving this space currently.
Awesome, awesome. And yeah, I think this is very correctly said. Every human, in fact, not even women, every human who get into the space of learning, I think it becomes exciting when you indulge into spaces which are unknown, and it becomes exciting. Great, Anushree. Thank you once again for taking out time for us on this platform and joining us on the CIO News. You're truly a wonder woman, and it was a pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you so much and namaskar to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.